Put two Sigma males in the same room and something happens that nobody else notices. They recognize each other instantly without saying a word. No introduction needed, no explanation required. There's a recognition protocol happening that's invisible to everyone else. Sigma males are rare. Most men aren't them. Most men who claim to be aren't actually them. So when two real Sigma males encounter each other, it's unusual. And something fascinating happens. They recognize each other immediately. Not through conversation. Not through getting to know each other. Instantly. Within seconds of being in the same space. It's not about dress or appearance. It's not about what they say. It's about something they both see in each other that everyone else misses completely. Today I'm breaking down exactly how this recognition happens. The signals, the awareness, the unspoken understanding that passes between two Sigma males. If you're a real Sigma male, you've experienced this. If you haven't, you're about to understand what you've been missing. 1. The observation position recognition. The first way Sigma males recognize each other is through the observation position. They see each other seeing. Walk into any social gathering, and most people are participating. They're in conversations. They're engaged. They're emotionally present in the social dynamics happening around them. Sigma males are watching. Even when they're participating, they're simultaneously observing. They're in the room but also somehow outside of it, seeing patterns, reading dynamics, understanding what's really happening beneath the surface performance. When one Sigma male enters a room, he immediately scans. Not obviously, not dramatically, just a quick assessment of who's there, what's happening, where the exits are, what the power dynamics look like. And within that scan, he spots the other person doing the exact same thing. Their eyes meet for a fraction of a second. And in that moment, they both know. They're both watching the same movie everyone else is starring in. They're both outside looking in, while everyone else is inside looking around. That recognition is instant and unmistakable. It's like two spies recognizing each other at a civilian party. Everyone else is genuinely there. These two are there, but not really there. They're in observation mode, and they can see that quality in each other immediately. The rest of the room is engaged with the content of conversations. These two are analyzing the subtext. The rest of the room is experiencing the social dynamics. These two are studying them. And when they catch each other doing this, there's a moment of recognition, a slight acknowledgement, sometimes a barely perceptible nod, often nothing visible at all. But they both know. They've identified each other as observers in a room full of participants, and that identification is immediate because the observation position is so distinctive once you know how to see it. Alphas have a different presence. They're projecting, broadcasting, taking up space, making sure they're seen. Their energy goes outward. Betas have a different presence. They're connecting, engaging, making sure they fit in. Their energy goes toward others. Sigma males have minimal presence, not because they're invisible, but because they're not broadcasting anything. Their energy is contained, directed inward. They're receiving information, not projecting it. And when two people in a room are both in receive-only mode, both in observation position, both processing rather than projecting, they recognize that quality in each other instantly. 2. The strategic positioning tell. The second recognition happens through positioning. Sigma males position themselves strategically in physical space, and they recognize this pattern in each other immediately. At any gathering, most people position themselves for social access, near the center of action, in conversation, clusters, where they can see and be seen by the most people. Sigma males position themselves for awareness and exit access, usually near walls or corners, where they can see the entire room, where they have clear line of sight to exits, where they can observe without being the center of attention. This isn't conscious strategy for most Sigma males. It's automatic. They enter a space and naturally gravitate to positions that maximize awareness while minimizing exposure. When one Sigma male is already positioned strategically and another enters, he immediately spots where the first one is standing, and he recognizes the positioning as deliberate. He sees someone against a wall with clear sightlines, someone in a corner where they can see both entrances, someone positioned where they can observe the whole room without being in the middle of it. And he knows, because he was looking for exactly the same position. Often what happens next is interesting. The second Sigma male will take a similar position on the opposite side of the room. Now there are two people positioned strategically, both able to observe everything, both with clear awareness of each other's presence. Neither is threatened by the other. Neither feels the need to approach. They just acknowledge each other's existence through positioning and continue their independent observation. It's like two snipers recognizing each other's positions. Not enemies, not allies. Just professionals who recognize professional positioning when they see it. This drives alphas crazy when they notice it, which they rarely do. Alphas want to be the center of attention. They position themselves centrally. They broadcast presence. When they see someone deliberately positioning themselves peripherally with full awareness, it doesn't compute. Betas don't notice it at all. They're too focused on the people they're talking to and whether they're fitting in properly. But Sigma males see it instantly. They recognize the strategic positioning because they do the exact same thing for the exact same reasons. 3. The energy conservation signal. The third way Sigma males recognize each other is through energy management. They see each other conserving energy in a room full of people expending it. Social interaction costs energy. For most people, it's worth the cost. Alphas gain energy from domination and attention. Betas gain energy from connection and belonging. They're receiving something that makes the expenditure worthwhile. Sigma males are spending energy without receiving the returns others get. No validation rush, no belonging satisfaction, no dominance payoff, just energy out with minimal return. So they manage their energy carefully. They engage selectively. They participate minimally. They conserve resources. And they recognize this pattern in each other immediately. Watch a Sigma male at a social gathering. He's pleasant, responsive, appropriate, but minimal. He's not expanding energy unnecessarily. He's not performing enthusiasm he doesn't feel. He's not engaging beyond what's required. When another Sigma male observes this, he recognizes it instantly, because he's doing exactly the same thing. Everyone else is on. They're engaged, they're expressive, they're putting energy into the social performance. These two are in power-saving mode, functional but minimal. To others, this might look like boredom or disengagement. To another Sigma male, it looks like recognition that this particular social situation doesn't justify high energy expenditure. There's often a moment where they'll make brief eye contact and there's an understanding. You're conserving energy too. You also did the math and realized this interaction isn't worth full engagement. No words needed, just recognition. This is different from shyness or social anxiety. Shy people want to engage, but can't. Socially anxious people are spending enormous energy managing their anxiety. Sigma males aren't anxious or shy. They're just calculating that the ROI of full engagement doesn't justify the cost, so they don't invest it. And when they see someone else making the same calculation, managing their energy the same way, conserving resources the same way, they recognize a kindred approach. It's like two athletes recognizing each other's training discipline, or two chess players recognizing each other's strategic thinking. There's an immediate understanding that this person is operating on the same framework you are. 4. The hierarchy non-participation. The fourth recognition signal is how they relate to social hierarchies. Sigma males recognize each other through their mutual non-participation in status games. Every social situation has a hierarchy. Usually there's an alpha, establishing or maintaining dominance. There are betas positioning themselves appropriately in the structure. There are people competing for status, people deferring to status, people navigating the hierarchy. And then there are the sigma males who aren't participating in the hierarchy at all. They're not competing for status. They're not deferring to it. They're not even acknowledging it as meaningful. They're just existing adjacent to it without being part of it. When one sigma male observes another not responding to hierarchy cues, recognition happens. An alpha makes a dominance play. Everyone else reacts, either by competing back, or deferring, or repositioning. The sigma male doesn't react. Not because he's intimidated, because the dominance play doesn't register as meaningful. Another sigma male watches this non-reaction and recognizes it immediately. This person isn't participating in the hierarchy, not rebelliously, he just doesn't buy into it. Or someone drops a status indicator, a name drop, a credential, an achievement. Most people respond, either impressed or dismissive or competitive. The sigma male responds neutrally. Acknowledgement without investment. Another sigma male sees this neutral response and knows. This person evaluates things directly, not through status proxies. The recognition happens because they're both doing the same thing. They're both present in social situations with hierarchies, but not emotionally invested in those hierarchies. To others, this might look like confidence or indifference. To another sigma male, it looks like recognition that hierarchies are optional belief systems, not objective reality. There's often a moment where they'll observe each other handling hierarchy dynamics the same way, and there's an unspoken understanding. You see through this too. You're also not playing this game. This creates an interesting dynamic. Sometimes two sigma males will be the only people in a room not participating in the status competition happening around them. They'll both be aware of each other's non-participation, but they won't acknowledge it directly because that would be participating in a different kind of status game. Instead, they just coexist. Two people in a room full of hierarchy participants, both choosing not to participate, both aware of each other's choice. 5. The mutual understanding without connection. The fifth and most fascinating recognition is the final piece. Sigma males recognize each other through mutual understanding that doesn't lead to connection. This is what confuses everyone else. When two people recognize each other, understand each other, have something in common, the normal response is connection, friendship, relationship, some form of bond. Sigma males recognize each other and then don't connect. They understand each other perfectly. They see the same things. They operate the same way. They could probably have fascinating conversations about their shared observations, and they don't pursue it. This mutual understanding without pursuing connection is the final recognition signal. When one sigma male recognizes another and sees that the other one also isn't pursuing connection despite mutual recognition, that confirms it. This person sees me seeing them, understands we're operating similarly, and also doesn't feel the need to do anything about it. That's the confirmation. Because alphas who recognize each other either compete or form alliances. Betas, who recognize each other, connect and bond, but sigma males, who recognize each other, simply acknowledge and continue separately. There's no need to connect just because you recognize similarities. No need to bond just because you understand each other. No need to form relationship just because you could. The recognition is enough. The understanding is sufficient. The acknowledgement is complete. Sometimes this results in a brief interaction, a short conversation, an exchange of understanding. But it doesn't develop into ongoing connection because neither person needs it to. They're both comfortable alone. They both conserve social energy. They both recognize that connection requires maintenance, and maintenance requires energy, and the energy cost doesn't justify the return. So they recognize each other, acknowledge each other, and remain separate. To everyone else, this looks strange. These two are so similar. Why aren't they friends? Because sigma males don't form connections based on similarity. They form connections based on value exchange. And two sigma males rarely offer each other something neither already has. They both see social dynamics clearly. They both operate independently. They both conserve energy. They both understand observation position. What would the connection add? So the recognition happens. The understanding is mutual. And then they continue their separate existences, perhaps never interacting again, despite perfect understanding. That mutual understanding, without pursuing connection, is the final and most definitive recognition signal. It confirms what all the other signals suggested. Here's what actually happens when two sigma males recognize each other. Usually nothing. Sometimes there's a brief conversation. Usually it's substantive, minimal, and complete. They might exchange observations about the situation they're both in, share a perspective, acknowledge the recognition directly or indirectly. Then they return to their separate existences. Occasionally, if there's genuine value exchange possible, if they're working on something complementary, if there's strategic advantage to coordination, they might form a working relationship, but it's transactional, project-based, functional, not friendship for its own sake, not connection for emotional reasons, just practical cooperation when it serves both parties. Most often, they simply coexist, both aware of the other, both understanding the other, both completely fine with no direct interaction. They might end up in the same spaces repeatedly: professional environments, social circles, communities, and each time the recognition is there. The understanding is maintained. The connection remains unnecessary. This frustrates people who witness it. You two should be friends. You're so similar. But similarity isn't sufficient reason for connection to a sigma male. Connection requires justification. Shared recognition isn't justification, it's just information. So that's how sigma males recognize each other instantly. Through observation position, through strategic positioning, through energy conservation, through hierarchy non-participation, through mutual understanding without connection. It happens in seconds, without words, without introduction, just recognition. If you're a real sigma male, you've experienced this. You've been in a room and spotted another one immediately. You've had that moment of mutual acknowledgement. You've understood each other perfectly and then continued separately. If you haven't experienced this, you're probably not a sigma male. Because real sigma males recognize their own kind immediately and unmistakably. It's not about trying to spot them. It's automatic. Like recognizing your native language when you hear it spoken. Instant and certain. If you're a sigma male who's experienced this recognition with another sigma male, drop a comment with recognized and tell me where it happened. If you've never experienced this instant recognition, you're probably not a sigma male. And that's fine. Most people aren't. But if you are, you know exactly what this video is describing, because you've lived it. Until next time, trust your recognition.